H2K. Yeah, got it. Thanks.
Coming into the series, and it played out that way too.
It did. I mean, first picking Thresh when you banned Morgana was super smart because we know Godfred also wants to be in some of these champions here who can create some picks. But the key thing for me was just how H2K decided to swap, obviously against the Trundle, to not give him the one-on-one lane, and also the Janna Corki. While it would be an even lane in the bottom lane, there's no reason to take it early on. Just swap, deny the Trundle a little bit, get a BF sword for Yanan, and then we saw the 2v2, how one-sided it was. Adri, he got caught out a few times, and once you get that BF sword on Tristana, these trades become so difficult to win. And that was key to start the whole snowball for H2K as early as possible. Get the kills, get the towers down, move Yan into mid lane, and instantly, 3 out of turrets are gone. Giants runs a composition that needs to group and poke, and also make sure it can never get flanked or get engaged on.
Too many things they have to do well.
Impossible. But the thing is, so we see a lot of people talk about this pick and ban phase, how terrible it was from Giants. In normal circumstances, I would agree. That was such a risky composition. One mistake, and the game is basically over because you don't have engage, you don't really have any tools to really fight for vision or anything. Like, you're going to have to group, so you need to play perfect mid-game or early to mid-game. But that is a Giants composition. This is what they've been winning with all split long. So
it's the style they've played.
Unless they want to say, for the last 2 weeks, we have been practicing a different style, the H2K style maybe, they're the mid-game pick compositions instead, and they can switch it up now, then this is the best kind of composition Giants can run.
And one of the things that they could have done to also help out is read an article on lane swaps at lolesports.com, something that you commented on. Crepo comments as the history and the growth and the development of lane swaps. It's something that helped H2K become a dominant power in Europe. And then because they didn't adapt and develop their own lane swap strategy, they started to fall a little bit behind. Now, that's not a big concern right now against Giants because Giants are struggling in that scenario. They rarely play lane swaps. They rarely show an understanding of when to move appropriately in those scenarios.
True.
And H2K just played out game one near flawlessly. H2K don't need to change anything, and they can still pick up a victory. They're on blue side. So pick and bans could, once again, give H2K an advantage.
As a team who is better in terms of the map players, better strategy, they won the pick and ban phase extremely hard. If we look at just what Giants normally wants to do, that was a conversation in their mind that was strong for them.
Yeah.
But just if you look at the overall picture, if you realize the fact that obviously they are facing a team as well who will probably punish you quite a lot if you become too predictable, which they did, then the pick and ban phase was so much in favor of H2K. The same thing here. What can change? Okay, Thresh could be banned away. I think that was a key
But
thing.
then what do you leave up?
H2K. What do you leave up then? At least would be left open for Lulex as an option. Seeing as Lulex is by no means the star player of H2K, that could be a go-to option for Giants and say, you know what? You can get Elise. We don't really respect maybe the impact you can have on the champion. So we feel like if we have to leave something open, that could be the one.
How impactful was Lulex finding Frederick's flash really early on? Because outside of that, we didn't see Lulex do a whole lot. He didn't need to. His lanes won their respective battles as much as they need to. Ryu did a great job. Hyun and Kasing did a great job. And then Oduwamne, you stand united to try to fight. Lulex had an early invade, got Frederick's Nidalee flash, which could have made him play defensively, at least the fear of Lee Sin being in his jungle. I mean, Lulex wasn't even needed that game.
True, but the key play was not even getting the flash, he was spotting. Where is the Nidalee? Okay, get a few deep wards down. Now our lanes can play even more aggressive because there's no threat of the jungler showing up. You saw Rio in the mid lane, just constantly just jumping on Pepinero because they had full control due to the Lee Sin pick and the way Lulex played it. Same first bans, though, coming in for H2K in Morgana Jax. Now, nothing has been shown for Giants, so we might just see Elise banned again, and then maybe Thresh as the last ban for Giants on their side. In Europe, very clearly, at least, Giants are still feeling that Kalista has to be a ban. We see that a lot in other regions as well. Still a strong pick. Well, then Sivir was the last one, but there's the Thresh, so they leave the Sivir open instead.
Do H2K want to first pick it? They've run it 5 times in summer. It is Hyunan's most played AD carry. And they need to decide where they prioritize.
It would be a champion if it's not first picked by H2K that would allow Giants to maybe change up the style and not run a poke composition, but more run like an all-in. We've seen a lot of Diana play from Pepinero, which could fit in nicely. But it is taken, and this will make it even worse if Giants wants to run with their poke composition that only has one real trick in the book, which is to group and start poking and have a split pusher and whirlip. Because Sivir ulti, together with the rest of what H2K is most likely going to draft, will be able to run straight at you.
So, a couple of seconds changed. Deficio and Giants hover a few, eventually locking in the Victor once more for Pepinero and the Gragas for Frederick. We talked about meta shifts and how Gragas has fallen a little bit out of favor.
Sure.
But still going to be able to put up a good performance here.
Here's what Gragas offers, though, compared to Nidalee. His early jungle pressure is, of course, a lot weaker than the Nidalee. He will never snowball as hard either. However, when it comes to getting more disengaged or potentially more engaged, Gragas will offer a lot more for the team in that case. So if Giants is looking to do somewhat the same, having Gragas Janna instead of a Janna Nidalee is obviously going to do a big difference in terms of the disengage. And also, again, the fact that you can flash body slam, knock someone back, it does open up at least a little bit in the engage book here for Giants. I think they just want more versatility, honestly. I don't think it's because they think Gragas is way better than Nidalee. It's just we need more options, so we don't pick these one-dimensional composition where one mistake will cost us the game.
More comeback mechanics, Crepper was casting, he would say. Giants have got themselves some wave clear, they've got themselves a little bit of initiation power. They've got a few more tools to play with. For H2K, once again, locking in their duo and jungle in their first two rotations, leaving their solo laners to last pick. H2K, remember, elected blue side for 2 of their 3 games. Giants put them on blue side in both of the games. So for H2K, it feels like they've really thought out how to play this pick and ban strategy.
I mean, if it ain't broke, don't fix it for them. So why not stick to somewhat the same? Sivir Alistar has also been one of these combos that is extremely effective for them because you have the fast pushing from Sivir and then the tower dive setup, the ganking setup from the Alistar to force these plays here with Odo Amna TPing down. Shen is available if he wants to pick it up again for himself. Giants, on the other hand, are completely changing their approach here. This is what we mentioned, how if they don't want to draft one of these one-dimensional comps, they have to change almost everything. If you are Giants, that is. Again, we're talking purely about Giants as a team, and they're doing it. I'm not a fan.
Deficio, really quickly to jump in, talking about changing everything. Adri has actually played 10 different AD carries over the course of the summer split, trying to find things to work. I do want to quickly mention the Gangplank hover because Odo Amna has been spamming it in solo queue. It is something that is available. It is patch 5.14. Everybody at home, so keep that in mind. Going to swap over to the Fizz, however. Going to have some split push power. Going to have some engage with Chum the Waters. And Odo Amna can have some teleport plays, which is something he did a lot of when he was playing Rumble.
Obviously, he wants the one-on-one pressure against Whirlip, who will have to counter pick once again. But what I was about to say before here in terms of not being a fan with Giants is because we haven't seen Adri really be a carry for the team. Now he's on a Vayne. He's going to need to have a standout performance if he wants to have an impact on the game on this one here. Again, Pepinero is not on a poke champion, which is what they've been playing around so effectively for such a long time. He's played Victor a few times, he's lost always. He's not managed to win a game on Victor in the EU LCS. So, in terms of what we see with the players, it doesn't fit them normally. However, Vayne is extremely strong into a Sivir pick. Vayne, Braum as well. If you manage to connect the first Q, get the first passive going on, you can chase targets down extremely effective. Braum also does really well into Alistar, into like melee supports, because it's very easy to connect that first, the first Q or the first passive proc, block the damage from a Sivir, block the boomerang. So I like the matchup in that case for Giants. I just want to see if they can play these champions here at the highest level. That's where I'm saying I'm not too sure. Composition-wise though, they have a lot more options now compared to before.
A lot of eggs in the mid to late game basket with that Vayne and Victor. There's not a lot of damage coming out of that Shen and Gragas. However, the utility and, as you said, the options that those two champions provide, split pushing threat or disengage or engage, as it were. Giants mixing things up in game 2.
A lot. I mean, they're the ones now who has to make plays with the Shen if they want to really utilize what Shen can do in the early to make game. He's not that great in the late game. Again, it's about using that global pressure. It's about getting a lead in your own lane, take that lead and then push it onto other lanes because you have double global to use. If you can manage to snowball Adri potentially on this Vayne down here, Sivir can never touch your one-on-one then at all. And we're going to have this setup where you can have Shen one lane, you have Vayne the other lane, and you might be able to apply map pressure. Obviously, Fizz is going to do just fine, though, later on into the Shen. But in the start, it's going to be fine for Whirlip.
1-0 up. H2K, the highest seed coming out of the regular season, looking to make it 2-0 and set themselves up for a match in the semi-finals against Origin. Will Giants turn it around? Will Giants pick up their first ever victory against H2K? We're loading up onto the Rift to find out.
So let's look at what H2K did as well in the champ select. Rio, when he has to go for a safe mid laner, it's often been either the Orianna or the Lulu. Didn't have the option to go Victor. We saw the same for Pepinero again. You early pick your mid laner, so you take the safe option in Victor. Fantastic champion, love him. Go for these blind picks, it's perfectly fine. But H2K is going to be able to basically go head-to-head in that lane and say, this is going to be a farm lane. Lolix making sure he's not checking in too aggressive, seeing what is in the bushes, and then instead now we have Odo Amne.
Yeah, but they're not
on the scaling split pusher.
Stopping. Rio and Lulex going to put some damage down, show who's boss. Body slam comes out from the biker Frederick Gragas. And we've got ourselves a party in the jungle, which instantly ends because of curfew, and some deep vision comes out. It is actually ping. So Giants will be aware that H2K have got, dare I call them, lane swap ward vision. Something we see very frequently. But more importantly, no reply from Giants.
No, that's the response you want to have. Unless you're setting up a trap in your own jungle, and like force them in to face check you, and then your 5 guys ready to take a first spot or force view summoners, then you always want to send a guy in on the bottom side and 2 guys maybe even to trade wards, at least get a ward on the red buff, potentially on the crooks to see where people are starting as well, get some more information. But Giants instantly just put down 2 wards in the river. So not really gaining a whole lot other than they knew that H2K was invading in. And this lane swap here, we mentioned how Vayne Braum can do extremely well in this matchup and how off course as well. The Shen in the early game is very strong with his base stats. So very natural that we get a lane swap coming for H2K, and also the fact that they are the better lane swap team.
Just about to get to that. H2K and lane swaps. It worked out in game 1. Let's also be honest, this time round, Nidalee and Trundle from the previous game, not on Giants team comp. The Gragas and the Shen will be able to offer a little more if H2K want to set up a dive. And H2K will just have to think a little bit more about it. Audrey's been left alone in that bottom lane as H2K are stacking their numbers up top. Lulex is in fact taking a slightly detoured route towards the mid lane before moving into the jungle.
Giants is moving way too late. If you want to go up and defend and do the 3-man defense with your top laner, this is what we see a lot from other regions, especially Korea. They like to go up and defend with the top laner, but he has to be there way in advance. You cannot go up this late because now you're stuck between the 2 towers and you can't really move into the tower because there are 4 members blocking you. So Giants moving way too slowly.
We've seen this exact scenario play out during the summer split. We saw a similar scenario in the previous game where Giants just reacted to H2K's map play too late.
And the thing that's going to happen now is if Giants manage to push into the tower, Odo Amne will just TP down to the bottom lane and get a one-on-one lane against the Vayne. The wave at the moment is not being frozen, so he wants to catch it. Giants are there moving in.
Wow, we'll see if Whirlip's in trouble. Lulex does connect to the Sonic Wave and Resonating Strike, but Hyana's the man that's eaten some turret shots. 3 members from Giants, they have managed to engage. Ignite is ticking down on Whirlip. Odo Amne should run him down. Run him down.
Get him down so you can TP bot lane, Odo Amne.
Come on!
Don't play with your food.
He finally got
TP
it!
bot lane. TP bot.
TP bottom lane. A little bit late, but better than late.
Well, you got a first blood as well.
Never.
You got a
first blood secured. Giants defended their tower. If you are going to take a small victory, and I mean ever so small victory, that is what it is going to be. And Whirlip's going to TP top to help defend with Godfred.
So again, what Giants were trying to do was say, okay, we don't want H2K to fast push the lane. So we're going to send Whirlip top, have Godfred and Frederick there as backup, so he won't be towered over. You know, there are 3 guys ready. They can defend the tower. They can secure some farm for him. which obviously opens up for Odoamne to go down bottom lane. That is why you need to freeze the bot lane if you want to make this play. Don't push it into tower, because you're just giving up farm. Now though, Frederick might look for some revenge, realizes he can't do anything. So Odoamne is going to get free farm, got the first blood. Giants were way too late to the top lane, and really just a poorly executed response to the fast push coming from H2K.
Well, H2K end up getting a lead with the kill, with the CS. And they set themselves once again on a strong start in game 2.
H2K needs to not overextend though. They know Frederick is nearby.
Frederick's not going to find an opportunity. There's no flash on Hyonin or Kasing because of the shenanigans that happened top lane.
This is the next thing though. When you have this defense with your top laner and your support, you normally want to play with your jungler around the enemy top lane because he should be overextending and trying to push out this wave. That's why you go and gank him. Otherwise, again, he gets that one-on-one free farm, and he doesn't even get denied that much. First blood, 22 CS already for Odoamne. Now he can go back top. No towers went down, but he just got an advantage for himself.
And of course, for Odoamne, he's had some critics this split in terms of performance, but his rumble has been great. For H2K, it's really been about Hyonin, the man on your screen right now. He's carried most of his team's damage. He's actually the only AD carry in the league to out-DPS his mid laner. And Deficio, I know you feel quite strongly that that's primarily because Ryu doesn't play a huge amount of poke. But there's your team damage distribution for both of these respective squads.
Just compared to some of the other mid laners we have in Europe, the guys who's playing the poke champions are of course the ones with the highest % damage. And Ryu has been a lot more focused on the likes of Ahri. We have seen honestly a bit of everything. I think he's played like 10, 11 different champions as well. For himself in the mid lane, we've seen the only poke champion has really been Jace. Only played it twice. So it's been a bit of everything for him, but also H2K has built compositions around Hyonin before. He's protect the AD carry, where it's like Ryu is playing Lulu, so obviously his job is not to deal damage, it's to buff up Hyonin, and that's where Ryu has been strong, honestly. I mean, he's been good in the summer split. I'm looking forward to see him step up even more for playoffs, because I know he can be even better.
Ryu seems to be a player that is flexible enough to play the role his team needs, as we've seen several times. Lulex will try his hand at the top lane gank, and it's going to be gifted to him because Werlip is going to eat that Sonic wave. Odoamne, however, does not have access to Chum the Waters. I believe his Ignite is just coming off cooldown in a few seconds, so if he hits level 6, that might be the all-in.
But just look what H2K is doing. Because the wave was pushing back down towards Odoamne, Lulex shows himself, sees he can either deny some CS or take the 2v2 now. Kasing sneaking up behind Adri here.
Well, he's managed to find Adri. He's going to get condemned against the wall. So Hyonin and Kasing with a very good trade. Adri does have a little bit of life steal from that Cutlass and a potion, so should be able to sustain himself relatively well in lane. But a cheeky play from Kasing, and he found an opportunity.
What we'd like to see normally as well from Kasing is early roams. It's why Hyonin and H2K as a team really love to play Sivir. It is so fantastic at fast pushing lanes, setting up tower dives, but also just staying on its own in these lanes here and just quickly shove the wave, back away so you don't obviously overextend or anything, and allow your support to start roaming around the map. You're on an Alistar as well for Kasing, so he doesn't really get that, what should we say, hurt by a Thresh ban.
Yeah.
It's more Giants that has to do it because they don't want to have him first pick it. Getting a Alistar as your second option, I think every support in the world will be happy with that.
Pepinero with a nice little death ray laser. But a moment ago, we did see that Lulex was also hanging around near that top lane. Lulex has invested quite a large amount of his time towards Odoamne's lane. It makes perfect sense. It is the no flash top laner that got first blood that you want to be pulling pressure to allow tower moves elsewhere on the map.
And again, because Shen needs to have a good early to mid game to start taking that advantage and snowball into the other lanes with these globals. If you keep putting pressure on him and he keeps falling behind, he can't really leave his lane too often because then his tower just goes down, and you need to make those plays count. If you are in that situation where your Shen is losing, like, you have to make that first ulti count. Otherwise, he's just going to fall even further behind and be useless.
Making that first ulti count. Pepinero's first ulti was defensive against Ryu. Ryu was able to bait out that Chaos Storm, force it rather, bait's the wrong word, and will give a little bit of breathing room to Ryu.
Shen is also looking at the position on Werlip on mid map.
If Ryu can dodge it, they flash the body slam? That was really good reaction time from Ryu.
Giants was ready to unleash everything. Whirlip had positioned himself in the bush up here in the top lane, ready to ulti out of vision, obviously, to join the mid lane as well to secure that kill. Instant flash though from Ryu. Does manage to stay alive. I mean, Frederick sneaked in behind him. He didn't even have to take a body slam to him. Walk up. You have your ulti as well. You could have a Shen ulti coming in. If you really want to invest everything for that kill, ends up getting nothing.
Lulex may as well buy a tent. For the amount of time he spent up in this top lane. O2 is going to get a little bit of poke down into Whirlip, but thanks to the taunt, eats a tower shot. That'll make this dive just a little riskier.
He's more here for counter gank.
See Lulex also starting to recall, so... But seriously though, Lulex has spent an exceptional amount of time in this first 10 minutes of the game. He's down in CS from Frederick, who's been farming himself away.
He's just reading the situation. You have two lanes that are more than happy to sitting and farming. They don't necessarily have to take any fights, mid lane and bottom lane. So you know also on the side of Giants, they want to get that Shen going. Him sitting up there and just being ready as a potential counter gank is just him securing the fact that Orame can keep overextending and push out the waves. I mean, 72 CS. Again, he had the first blood. Such a perfect start for H2K and just such a poor lane swap from Giants.
Well, the lane swap this time around hasn't hurt Giants as much as it did in the previous game. So we'll find out whether or not the farm that O2 has picked up...
They're kind of bleeding from the top lane.
So it hasn't hurt them yet. We'll put a time limit on it, a caveat.
I'd go with the fact that it hurt them a lot. Due to the fact you've fallen so far behind on the lane you were supposed to do well in, to kind of snowball the map to secure it. Because what happens also in this Vayne-Sivir matchup, just to change it down to the bottom lane, is that, yes, one-on-one, Vayne is going to beat the Sivir. However, if your team starts falling behind, you don't offer any wave clear. You prefer to sit in a side lane as well and try and get that one-on-one skirmish going on. Sivir is going to group with her team and force fights, force tower dives, force objectives. And that's where Vayne will not be able to respond properly. So Vayne relies on the rest of her team as well to perform well. So she can become a bit of a split pusher. Now she's going in.
This, Yarnan's going to flash away. Kasing's holding on to his flash.
Beautiful!
Kasing gets a two-man pulverize, and H2K get away from the first Stand United play. That's going to hurt Whirlip even more.
Used very early onto Adri here, almost very predictable. Kasing saved his knock-up. He saw Shen arrive, and then he flashed knocked up. Two members. Now
not over yet. Kasing, he throws down the unbreakable will, but he still gets condemned against the wall. He's going to be blocking the damage. Lulex will find the kill onto Adri. This might be game already. Kasing staying alive. The tower keeps him alive. O2 is teleported in for his first kill of the game. Second kill of the game, and Godfred runs away. A terrible tower dive from Giants puts them 4,000 gold behind.
Desperation from Giants. First ulti had to count. They had to do something. Adri.
119.4 in summer. Shockwave will get sidestepped there by Pepinero. Okay. But summary, Deficio.
Let's go back here to that bottom lane here. Giants knowing, because they've fallen so far behind already, they wanted to make that ulti count. First engage doesn't work out because a beautiful play also from King. Look here though, the engage coming in, Adri jumps back, so we have H2K at the tower, ulti comes in onto Adri, Kasing jumps away with it, so now, flash Q onto two guys as soon as Shen arrives, beautiful play from him. And that's the problem here. Trevor, what does Alistar's ulti do?
Damage reduction.
75%, that means do not tower dive me, because you will not kill me. And Giants aim for that Alistar anyway. It allows H2K to TP down behind. Lulex had already been moving. Easy response from them. Get 3 kills, get a dragon. 3k goal lead 13 to 14 minutes in. They couldn't have asked for almost a better start.
I know we've got Kobe known as the professor in North America, but you are definitely the disappointed dad, Deficio. Whenever we see misplays like that, Frederick is going to be forced to use that explosive cask to get rid of O2, who already has his Trinity Force completed, with the 30 CS advantage. Game 1, we saw that drop down. Average Infinity Edge time was around 17 minutes. Hyunan's got another early one. That was picked up about a minute ago. So bringing the averages down thanks to a strong laning phase from H2K.
But GIA Good guy Yana, and always managing to get some kills or assist in this bottom lane here. Giants changed up the composition. They said, you know what? This risky poke comp we like to run with no engage, with no real comeback mechanics. We can't do it versus H2K. They're too good in the early to mid game. Change it. It doesn't change the fact that there's the other aspects of the game where H2K have been better than you. Was the lane swap. What can Giants do now though? You're falling behind in your lanes. Mid lane tower has been chipped away slowly by Rio over and over.
Oh.
Top lane though, Fish is missing.
He may not even need Chum the Waters. Playful Trickster up. Oh, with the help of Frederick though, he will. So he's going to get shut down. Frederick in the right place at the right time. But the thing is, not only did Oduwam then not get the kill, that is a very big minion wave that he's going to lose out on as well.
True, he doesn't have teleport either. He didn't have Ignite Fortified. He missed the ulti. That's why he couldn't take down Whirlip. So very key for Giants. They managed to get a kill here in response. Odame didn't have to take that fight. That was him saying, you know what, guys? I'm going to go for it. Instead, though, mid lane tower because 2 guys on top for Giants. But this is what they gotta do, you know. They gotta try and look for some of these, punish some of these maybe over-greedy plays that we can see from H2K. That's your almost your only way back into the game. Adri, though, if he can stick to his side lane, and H2K does not manage to group around objectives, it will buy enough time for the Vayne to become a problem. But that again relies on H2K making mistakes.
Small victory with that second outer tower for Giants, keeping the gold lead to only 2,000. But with the Sivir on your side, H2K should always have an advantage when they start moving between lanes and start wanting to force objectives. H2K's last outer tower is down in this bottom lane. There's some river vision as well, so we need to see how long it is before they decide to commit to taking it out.
Yeah, we need to remember with H2K, you have an Alistar, you have a Fizz as well. 2 champions that are very strong when it comes to these dives here. Once they start having the cooldowns ready, looking at Odamne in this case here with his TP, you gotta just make sure you always calculate, can we dive through both the Shen, Stand United, and whatever else there is to offer on the side of Giants. There's an Exhaust on Guard Fred, because you don't have to make the over-aggressive play right here. You can aim around the 5-on-5 team fights. On your side, you are extremely strong in this case. You have Orianna, you have Sivir. So you can start playing around these dragons instead. You don't need to go for any risky dives. Unless you know Shen can't join, if you know Godfred has no way of really defending anyone.
Giants feeling imminent pressure in the bottom half. They've got some support from Frederick. TP is available for Oduwamne. And there is a ring of wards.
He can kill Pepinero though. Look at him moving down.
Jungle. Frederick's going to mess with the body slam. Going to throw out the barrel. And now Oduwamne, he's run his way into the bottom half of the jungle. Remember that outer turret fell several minutes ago. So Oduwamne not even going to need the teleport yet. He's also very close to level 11. So level 2 Chum the Waters will be up. And just from numbers alone, Giants have foregone that bottom tower.
I just really like this play from H2K. We just talked about how they didn't have to go for any risky tower dives versus the Shen. So what they do instead is they move away from the lanes. They invade into the jungle. They move down Oduwamne from top. So they know, okay, we have 5 guys ready. If Giants is waiting around here in this jungle, we can just get a kill. Otherwise, we get deep wards. And we force them to respect the chance or the fact that we could go and dive them.
The options there.
The option is there. We don't have to. But the fact that there's the chance, they need to back away. We get a free tower for it, and we wait for Dragon anyway, because at the same time, they got the vision control they wanted for Dragon, which is spawning in 30 seconds.
So, Giants do not fall prey to giving up more kills. They did lose their tower, and they do continue to lose gold leads.
It's how you make a situation going from, let's say, a high-risk, high-reward where you had to dive to a low-risk, high-reward where instead you just get deep vision and a free tower because you force them away. Ryu, though, beautiful flash.
Again, Ryu, he's flashed a body slam, he's flashed a taunt. Ryu does not want to get locked down with 5 seconds before Dragon is up. And all of that deep vision from that low-risk, high-reward play, H2K can make the best decision possible.
Oh, Godfrey,
Resident Godfrey, he's going to be in trouble. Lulex is going to find Frederick. The shockwave only catches Whirlip, which is not the greatest, but that's going to be 2 kills for H2K. Audrey's got the Stand United, but he's also got to Chum the Waters, and Fishy Business sent him home. 3 members of Giants are squashed under H2K's boot, as will the Dragon in a few seconds' time.
And all this was set up 2 minutes ago. With the D-bots coming in now, Giants is fighting in a jungle that, much like the last game, does not belong to them anymore. It is H2K who has the vision control and they have the position already. So they're spotting up Giants, who has to walk into these small corridors here to try and get close. And it's just too easy for H2K to say, okay, we can take a good fight here, we can get a pick. Therefore, we know with the TP as well, there's no way for Giants to properly team. But look at this here. There's only one entrance for Giants at this point. That's the one coming from the tier 2 mid tower. So H2K has full vision of everything. 2 wards around. Godfred already poked low. They get a beautiful team fight set up. Adri, you're not going to do anything against this Fist who's been getting free farm, who's been getting the kills. Again, that's why the lane swap was such a big problem. And the map belongs to H2K.
Again, similar position to previous game where H2K had a significant advantage at 20 minutes. And for Giants, a similar position to their last 20 games where they are down 2,000 or more gold at 20. Oduwamne is just going to eat Godfred alive. Gold claps all around for what is an exceptional display. H2K are outplaying Giants individually in lanes by 1v1ing and 2v2ing. They are outplaying them strategically through picks and bans, and they're outplaying them on a macro level through map decisions. Ryu's not even going to go down to this all-in from Frederick, because Frederick had no support. Chaos Storm comes out. Pepinero will get the second kill of the game. Audrey's looking for Hyanan, but he's not going to find him. Lulex has found Pepinero, kicked him away. Sonic Wave gets tumbled. Audrey looking for the kill, but Kasing is still alive. Teleport from Whirlip. Whirlip also has Flash. Again, Sonic Wave misses. Oduwamne there does not. Playful Trickster. Taunt doesn't connect. H2K have turned their attention to the Ninja. A flash forward. Hyanan is not going to get the kill, and he will stay alive a few seconds longer before the shield comes in. Hyanan gets out. Oduwamne finds Audrey. The damage dealer is down. The Taunt connects onto Lulex, and Giants, they put together 3 kills in a fight, but they are still 6,000 gold down.
So again, with H2K overextending their welcome just a little bit, Giants does manage to get some kills. Very important for them. Sadly, Adri didn't manage to get one. Whirly picked up quite a lot of the kills. 2 for him, 1 for Pepinero, but a lot of back and forth here in this fight. All starts with trying to get a pick in that mid lane onto Rio, I believe it was. Then we get the kill going. But this is what Giants relies on. They rely on H2K to overstaying, playing a little bit too greedy, and that's your way back into the game. But we also just see how many things are just so close and yet so far. Like that ulti from Frederick onto Ryu managed to knock him into the wall, like the wall right next to him, instead of knocking him back into the tower. Like these small things are just not working for Giants at the moment, but credit to them for getting 3 kills. It is the way back.
Way back. It is a long, long, long way back for Giants. If they need H2K to continue making mistakes. We see Lulex on screen. A bit of a fan of Kaiser Chiefs with his Ruby Crystal build. Hey, if you need power now...
Yeah, sure, sure. You need cheap tankiness. Get them Ruby Crystals. You also do like Pepinero and say, you know what, I'm going to go for the Rylance. 400 HP, a lot more shiny.
Dragon will be coming up in a couple minutes' time, Deficio. Whirlib has not had the greatest accuracy with that Shadow Dash Taunt. And the damage from Chum the Water is not the greatest. Oduwamne is going for that Bruiser split push build. Bladed Ruin King finished almost. Along with his Triforce. There is nobody that can deal with Oduwamne one-on-one.
No.
But he's not the one that's in the side lane because he doesn't have teleport.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Hyanan that's currently pushing out the top lane.
No reason to go and split push against the Shen without TP. They will only result in a 5 vs 4 situation for Giants. They might try and catch out Oduwamne. He was standing on a ward.
So, like we said, you can't 1v1 Oduwamne, but you can try a 4v1. That is before Lulex joins. On the hunt comes out from that.
Oh,
3-man pulverize! Once again, Kasing sets up H2K. The shockwave keeps Whirlib and Pepinero inside of the jungle. Before the Boomerang Blade chunks down Giants. 2 more kills to H2K. And what can they take from another victorious team fight?
They're just so strong in these 5 versus 5 team fights. You have so much mobility from Orianna, from the Sivir. And Giants, Adri was back in base when this fight started. When they went for that pick, he just recalled, so he wasn't even there. Let's see if he can do anything to stop this Baron, though.
Stand United looks like it is going to deliver into the base. Werlib has managed to pick up a kill, but Lulex secures the Baron. El Bandito was not nearby, or close enough, rather. When you see Lulex getting dropped, a messy Baron pit fight.
Sing didn't want the kill.
2 for 1. That was a bit awkward, but H2K get the Baron on at least 3 of the members.
Alright, so let's see the fight again. Notice down the bottom here in your minimap, Adri's not there, and this is Giants saying we're gonna try and go and jumbo down to put you against Sivir. Orianna, you cannot take these fights here if there's no quick escape path or like a tower nearby you can instantly just disengage to. So they're just caught in a 4 versus 5 situation. They started. Ends up giving 2 kills, loses the Baron for it. And this build from Pepinero is really going to delay when it comes to his like late game damage, delaying Death Cap, delaying Void Staff. We've seen this Luden's Echo build quite a lot, extra wave clear, more movement speed. That's normally great into poke. Against this right here, I would much more prefer, instead of a Luden's Echo, just a Death Cap straight up. You want as much damage as possible for when they run at you to just blow off targets.
Well, in that case, if you use a Braum ultimate and a Rylai's laser, slow can get you out alive of an invade, Deficio.
Sure, you can kite.
But I don't think they can kite long enough to win a fight. Giants, they do have some vision in the jungle, which may pay off in a few minutes. Oda1 there looking for the flank opportunity. He's lowered down the river, as I believe that was Ryu that got the Scuttle Crab kill credit. So vision, as well as that movement speed shrine in favor of H2K. Giants, they're going to commit to this. And they've got a very big minion wave up top, which needs to be dealt with. So Giants going to get their first dragon of the game, despite losing Baron a few minutes ago. And H2K unable to find the team fight they were looking for.
Let's see, why did H2K not want to contest this one at all? You didn't have a flash on Ryu. You had all your ultis ready, on the other hand. Except for Yanan. Sorry, Yanan's ulti was down.
Yeah, he used it to chase them in the jungle initially.
I think, honestly, just H2K said we don't want to risk taking a fight, which could be fairly poor for us in case we don't feel like we have the proper position on the map to go for it, so we just back away, even though it does delay the potential 5 dragons. We found other ways, though, to get the fight.
You know what's important, though, to mention about that? H2K showing restraint ensures they don't make a mistake. What H2K had done in the latter weeks of the summer split is try to force engages, try to force invades that were not the safest, that were not optimal, and it hurt them. So it's good to see some smart play. The Shockwave is just going to remove Pepinero as H2K kill another inner turret. Oda1 is looking for more. Playful Tricksters up into the wave. Baron empowered minions is going to allow H2K to take their 5th tower of the game, extend their gold lead to 11,000, and get super minions in the middle.
I feel like we talked about this already, Trevor. How H2K can just set up so easy dives with Alistar and Fizz again and again and again. They just pop Sivir ulti and run straight at you. Once you start falling behind, you have no proper way of stopping it. Frederick.
Oda1 is looking for Frederick. He's not going to find it, but he may find Adri. Adri's going to tumble for a few seconds, but it's Ryu that will get the kill credit. Adri died for the 5th time this game. I believe the 23rd time all summer against H2K. Godfred goes in, Godfred goes out. Playful Trickster up, Oda1 gets the last hit on the Nexus. And H2K are 1 game away from a semi-final matchup with Origin.
So, we saw Giants change the composition. No longer the poke coming in for them. Instead, you have more of a 1-3-1 setup. You try to counterpick a few of the lanes. You try to get the Vayne into the Sivir. Pepinero, obviously, with their Victor in the mid lane, honestly, hasn't managed to have any impact at all on 2 games now. The star player on Giants. It's been on Victor. It's been the blind pick. It's been the safe pick. Victor is absolutely fantastic. But again, on his own, to be the solo carry, that becomes very, very difficult. The problem is the rest of the team as well. It's just, like, the lane swap is where it goes wrong both times. It's in the early game, the lane swap. They start falling behind. Then the bottom lane is where we kind of get the first big punch coming in, where it's a mistake happening from Giants, and then H2K takes it, and it just snowballs. so fast.
Unfortunately for Giants, they're just being outplayed at almost every level. You can debate picks and bans and style and strategy, but there's absolutely no argument that each of the lanes for H2K is showing up this game. They're doing what they need to do. In the previous game, Oda 1, there was down a little bit of CS versus Werlib, but he was playing Shen, didn't matter. His first Stand United gank worked. You contrast that to Werlib with his Stand United onto Adri and Godfred. That didn't work. It then led to a poor tower dive. I mean, here's your team composition again for this particular game. A big change up from game 2. As a note, going into game 3, which could be the final of the series, Giants will be on the blue side. How does that change things to Fisher?
Well, first of all, they won't have to ban a Thresh. They could potentially first pick it. We're still expecting Morgana and Jax to be banned on the side of H2K. So if they want to go for Elise ban as well, I don't think they have to in this case. They can say, you know what, we leave Elise and Thresh open. You get one of them, we take the other one, plus a second power pick for themselves. So it does open up for maybe a Thresh first pick. That is not going to change it though for Giants. It's not first picking the Thresh to make them win. It's to avoid Kasink getting it. And that again is the whole problem about these pick and ban phase. This is why the pick and ban phase is so difficult for Giants, because the style you like to play
doesn't work.
The style you could play, it doesn't work. It's too one-dimensional. It's too risky against a team that is better than you in the early to mid game. So you have to change up your style to something you haven't really practiced probably that much. You haven't had success with in the LCS. It doesn't really seem to add up.
It really doesn't, but to Fisher, we're being musically played off stage. So while we step away, Giants look forward to game 3, where they will need to win to keep their playoff hopes alive. As we go, we will be hearing how hard it is to stop H2K's coordinated play once they get going. And there's more postseason action coming away right after this.
They're really good at like pushing advantages, taking towers, getting global goal, like getting the snowball rolling. And when we fall behind like that, it's really hard for us to usually come back. So we'll have to try to prevent that from happening.